Hello everyone and welcome to episode 4 of Surrey Tennis Talks. We're back today with another episode full of updates for you on how our British players have been getting on, as well as we're going to touch on the French Open slightly. So welcome Justin, how are you?
Hey guys, yeah, very good, thank you. Just looking out on the wet weather, and we can see it's been pretty wet in Paris as well. So yeah. I think there's a storm coming in, the sunshine's gone. It's getting darker at night, isn't it, Lewis?
It certainly is. It's certainly drawing in. Nights are drawing in.
Yeah.
So we referenced in our last episode that the finals of the National Youth Series were upcoming. So do you want to give us a quick update as to how they got on?
Yeah. No, that would be great. The National Youth Series finals took place last weekend up in Derby. And happy to say, really, really proud to say that we had 3 winners from Surrey. So just want to make sure that we big them up. Congratulations to Neo Armas, who won the tens boys. Tremendous effort from him. Katie Randall was a consolation runner-up. Mark Saban came 4th in his age group. Anjali Vasanthan came 3rd. And remember, this is the whole country. So we're doing really, really well. Jesse Clarkson smashed up the 12s as champion, and Liam Channon also in the 12s, who won the consolation. So, you know, I always say some consolation if you can win the consolation, right? And Trinity Madhu, she came 7th out of 8 of the top players in the country. And Dilhan Wasantha from Surrey, coached by his father, good friend of mine who I grew up in the parks with in North London, Dilhan Wasantha, he won that title in the 14. So I guess we can call these guys sort of like national champions. All the best players are there. Jamie Diack won the consolation. So if you're going to lose your first match, go win the rest of your matches, win the consolation. Don't just, you know, lick your wounds, lie there, put your tail between your legs. Go win the next few matches, you know, get stuck in. And well done to Allegra Korpanec-Davies, who came 3rd in the under-14 girls. So what an outstanding weekend for Surrey players. Congratulations to all of them, all the parents for driving them up there and having to deal with all sorts of guidelines and, you know, strange rules. And congratulations to every single one of their coaches, coaching team, physical trainer, mental gurus, and whoever else has helped them along their journey. So great weekend. Well done, Surrey players.
Amazing. Yeah, I completely echo that. And just to touch on an interesting point you made there about the consolation, you think then it's very important that if you lose your first round, that you do play the consolation where possible, get some more wins under your belt. You think that's quite an important thing to do?
Yeah, well, just not even if you know, don't only play it if you want to get wins, but just play matches as a young player. Play matches, play sets, play matches. Whenever I talk to the, you know, pro players, they training, okay, training, but sets is the best training. So, you know, even if you, as soon as you lose, go learn again. You've learned from the loss. Maybe you learned something, and what do you want to do? Sit in the car for a few hours and listen to your mum or dad, you know, say, should have done this, should have done that. You can drive back with them and say, well, I did do that. And I did adjust, I did correct. So all junior tennis should be is playing, learning, adapting, adjusting, maintaining, growing, developing. It's not all about this sort of winning and losing. If I win, I'm good. And if I lose, I'm bad. No. Because a lot of the time, really, I said to players last night, if you're winning so much, are you really learning that much? How many times do you sit down after a win and analyze everything? You just tend not to. So those losses really are valuable. I can't sort of state it enough. So yeah, stick around, play the consolation, unless of course you've got a very expensive hotel room and costing you a bomb to play a couple of meaningless matches. Okay, on that occasion, you know, drive home and play a few sets nearer to home.
Yeah. It makes sense. So do you think having so many Surrey players doing so well in this, is that a sign of just a high level of coaching across the board? Is it a case of, you know, we have a lot of dedicated players? What would you sort of attribute that?
We've got lots of projects that are being managed very well. Every player in Surrey or anywhere across the country, they're all in the center of a project. So you need the dedication of the parents, the dedication, commitment of the coach. Like I said, well done to anybody else that's helping as well. The S&C instructor. If you're getting any sort of psych help, or at least positive chat, even the grandparents that are saying, back in my day, Uncle Jeff, who was the club champion, he's going to come in and say, oh, hit your slice like this. So all these players sit at the center of a team around them, and I'm really proud to say well done to everybody, and keep doing what you're doing, keep that positivity going, because you can't rock up at these tournaments. There are all so many good players there and get lucky. So yeah, we're just in a good vein of form, all these players, and keep going. So moving a little bit on to like county training, because we do like to get our county training highlights in. We start this weekend, Lewis. We start the under 8s and under 9s. Girls are starting at Sutton this weekend in the Dome. New conditions in the Dome. Unfortunately, no parents watching. That's just the way things are at the moment. The under 10 boys are at David Lloyd Purley. Under 11 boys are at Reeds. Under 12 boys are at the Surrey Indoor County Training Centre, and the under 14 boys are again back at Sutton. And just touching on something here, I've been asking all the players at my academy, thumbs up if you're sad that your parents can't watch. In fact, thumbs up if you really love it when your parents are watching you train. Thumbs down, i.e., I'm not really keen on them watching me train. Or hands like this if you feel kind of, I don't really care. I'm pretty indifferent. Every single player has said, thumbs up. Not having my parents watching me is thumbs up at training. And I didn't lead the witness. We didn't have to
Very
lead
interesting.
somebody. So many players have said, oh my gosh, training is so much nicer without having my parents. So something that's sort of coming out of all these COVID guidelines is that, we talk about kids needing their space and needing room to grow, and they don't need the pressure, especially in individual sport. You've got to think as a parent, when you're watching your child play football or rugby or cricket, there's a whole team, and you can get a little bit lost and you can spread your intensity out across the whole team, plus the opposition's team. But in tennis, when you rock up, your eyes are pretty much staring at your kid's back most of the time, or if you're at the other end of the court, they swap ends of kids, and you're trying to catch their eye, and it can become very intense. So, wow, I've been pretty much blown away. It was a little bit emotional when you hear some of the players sort of saying, I mean, all I've got to do is make one mistake and I can get a glare, or I get the toss, or I get the shoulders rolling, or the shrug. I'm like, wow. So,
wow.
And I must say, as coaches as well, we've noticed how relaxing it is. We're not sort of sitting down having coffees, but we can just sort of do what we like to do, which is sort of blend into the background as coaches sometimes, and let the players just do their thing, and then sort of come in and gently ask them quietly. Because a lot of the time when you're coaching, you need to sort of look quite active, and because you're in it's a commercial operation. You're being paid to coach these parents' children, and you sometimes, when they can't hear what you're saying, you've got to overact and make them look as if you're really getting into that backhand, and try and get your serve a little bit. And the player must be thinking, gee, all right, calm down, man. This is, you want me to learn it, or are you trying to scare the life out of me? So, it means the whole atmosphere is very relaxed. And listen, I'm a parent of 4 kids, and I go watch my kids play, but so I'm learning a lesson very much as well as a parent, just to listen to the players. But that's what I'm hearing.
That is very, very interesting. Yeah, I mean, that's fascinating, really, to get that sort of reaction. And I think we're probably going to have some parents watching this episode, and I suppose they may take from that, just a bit of a realization that actually them not being there, as you said, creates just a more relaxed atmosphere for the players. You could argue, looking at the professional tennis game at the minute, there's less fans. You could think, does that free them up to play how they want to play, or does it change the atmosphere. So it's an interesting dynamic, I think, this sort of what effect COVID has had on people watching. So
But junior tennis is about development.
Mm.
And I think a lot of parents think it's about performing.
Mm.
And it's not. It's about learning and developing. When you rock up at Wimbledon, rock up at Hamburg, rock up at Roland Garros, as a fan, you're looking for a performance. You paid good money and you want to be entertained by these performers. But junior tennis, you have to have a different set of eyes. You have to rock up and look at your kid making mistakes, thinking, well, that's good. That's good. That's where they can make their mistakes. That's where they can miss balls. That's where they can learn and do all their discovery and sort of development work. And I think a lot of the time, parents, I think, we rock up and we want to maybe see the finished article a little bit too early. I'm sure that's the case. That's the sort of difference. So no, players need space. They need to have the glaring eyes off them for a little while and just have space to make a few mistakes. And then we sort of say, anything you learn from that, and I can say it just like I've just said it to you. Anything you notice there, they're not stupid. They go, yeah, missing a couple of balls. What do you think? And just say, well, let's swing a little higher. And I don't even need to go, hey, mum and dad, look, I'm coaching your kid a little higher. Whoa, all that money you're investing, it's being, wow, it's really worth it. Look, I'm coaching. So, yeah, sorry to harp on about it, but that's how it is. I hope everyone's been enjoying the French Open, because I know it's a little bit unusual, but it's still a great slam, and there's been some good matches so far. What's your take on it so far? Have you been watching much?
I have, yeah. I've been watching a lot of it. I think the weather has been very interesting. I think the dampness, I think how clayey the clay looks, it really looks so heavy out there. You've seen almost every single match I've played, one of the most important shots players have been using is the drop shot. I've seen Novak drop shot, almost every single game, and actually a lot of the players doing that, even especially the female players. So I think the weather itself, and you see players wearing thermals, it's not often you see that. So I think the weather's played a huge part of it. And I think similarly to the US Open, I think, yes, there's of course no fans, but you sort of forget that when you're watching it. I think it's been a brilliant and fantastic tennis so far. In the women's game, the amount of seeds that's been knocked out is absolutely astonishing. I think something like 16 of the top 30 seeds are gone already. So it's been a really interesting tournament so far.
Yeah, no, definitely. Just looking at the draw here, you've got Halep, who's just rampaging through the draw, through to the last 16 already, and it's gonna take. I mean, Kiki Bertens maybe in the top half. She's always tricky, very very tricky, and perhaps Marissa Sakkari, the Greek player. Maybe it's an opportunity for some players to come through that we've perhaps not seen at the latter stages of Grand Slams before. I mean, Svitolina is interesting. Hasn't really done anything. Didn't play the US Open. Took a little bit of stick in some of the losses that she'd had leading up to the French, but she's looking good. She's coming good. And Caroline Garcia, I'd love to see her do well. Very talented player, obviously playing on home surface. So interesting. But I think the most interesting player, although I've got Muguruza in my tennis dream team, I hope she does well, is sort of the revival of Ostapenko.
Yes. Yeah.
Won the tournament as a 19, 20-year-old in 2017, and she's pretty much done nothing since then, sort of fell off the landscape. And she's back and she's smashing the ball around. So, if anyone wants to watch someone who's going for their shots and playing with complete freedom, Ostapenko is your girl. So
she had a big win over Pliskova, wasn't it? She knocked out Pliskova.
Straight sets. Pliskova not having the best run, but it's still if Ostapenko's getting that ball anywhere near the court, players need to watch out, because when that ball is hit, it stays hit. Reverberations all around Paris. And on the men's side, I didn't think Dominic Thiem could come in with the same energy, having just won the US Open, but he's looking pretty strong, isn't he? looking pretty strong out there. You've got Novak, of course, in the top half. You know, can Bautista Agut, can he do anything? He's the running man. He can play for years. Berrettini.
Yeah.
Some good matches that we're going to be looking forward to. And then you've got the Hungarian, Marton Fuchsovics, who's an interesting guy. Played Joe Salisbury, Surrey's Joe Salisbury, when under 12, it was the best junior under 12 match I've ever seen.
Oh, wow.
Quality was so high. All these Tennis Europe matches that the players, I was there with Joe in France watching him play Fuchsovics, and Fuchsovics was one of the few people to beat Joe that year in the age group. 7-5 in the third. So yeah, and then of course you've got Rafa in the bottom half, and let's see if the sun isn't shining, but he still seems to be getting his work done.
Definitely, I think. Yeah, for sure. And I think what will be interesting is that you've really got this group of next gen players who almost every single slam now are, reaching X stage, semi-finals, quarterfinals, and I think you've sort of got Rafa and Novak, who I'd say probably are the last two left of that previous era. Obviously Wawrinka has dipped in and out the last few years. Murray's injury, Federer, will always be in and around, but he's going to have his limits. So I think it'd be interesting to see if the teams, Zverev's, Tsitsipas, can have the same effect and topple Novak or Rafa. But I think Novak is looking absolutely imperious. He's just on another planet at the minute.
We want everyone. There's two players that are like the junior boys in particular to look out for, and that's Yannick Sinner, who is through and plays. Very, very good player. And then we've got another young American called Sebastian Korda, who is the son of Peter Korda, who won the Australian Open back in the 90s. So, and it's interesting, if Korda gets through his match and Nadal gets through his, they play each other next round. So why do you want the juniors to watch them in particular? I want the juniors to have a look because they are, if you like, transitioning out of, they were both good juniors, both played in similar tournaments that Jack Draper played in. So I've seen them play a lot. And just have a look at, they are the future. So if you want to see like your next Rafas and Federers and Djokovic's, they really are in 5 years time, 6 years time. Sinner and Korda, Tsitsipas, Zverev, Thiem. I think this is what your top 10 is going to look like. So have a look, because it's tough. The transition between juniors and seniors is tough, but they've got a lot of games. So enjoy watching them play. Yeah. Okay. Noted. And I will as well. We never like to go too many episodes without discussing the progress of obviously Joe Salisbury. Hopefully all the Surrey fans out there, players, parents, will be keeping a close eye on his results. So what do you make of his progress in the French so far? Good. Well, just watched his match this morning. So very comfortable 6-3, 6-1 victory over Alex de Minaur and Matt Reed from Australia. And Joe's just been getting better and better. Something which was he appreciated the other day was, we get to see the video and the footage and the cut down footage of every single point of all his matches. I can go into a filter and I can filter out anything that I want to have a look at, or Joe's keen to have a look at in isolation. And so just looking at some of his service partner volleys, and just sent him a clip of every single service partner volley in the last sort of 6 months that has been great. So I've got, every single one of his matches, and you can filter it all out, and just sending him like 20 of his best clips and just getting his feedback saying, wow, that's really useful. Just getting that feeling of that's how I am. Because I think sometimes we can overanalyze things and worry about your footwork and this, that, and the other. And sometimes just a nice series of you doing it properly 20 times is enough to go out and go, I'm actually pretty good. I've done all these things that I'm worried about. Just go out and do it again. And it really helped. And I sent him one yesterday of his great returns, and just speaking to him today, he seems to think he returned better today. He's been practicing a lot, but again, just going out with that mental image of yourself returning well, it's got to help. He thinks it helps. So good luck to them. They're looking for a rematch in the next round. They lost to Chardy and Martin last year
Mm.
in the latter stages of the French Open. I remember sitting there boiling hot, and they lost 2 tight sets. So looking for revenge.
Yeah, certainly.
Revenge at Roland Garros for Jez Copeland. Yeah, that's it. That's it, Lewis. So yeah, looking forward to the back end of the French Open, and looking forward to all the juniors getting out this weekend in Surrey doing county training.
Yeah, perfect. Brilliant. Well, I think that wraps it up beautifully. We'll come to the 20-minute mark. So I think, hopefully everyone's got a lot from the chat today. And yeah, I want to thank you for joining us again for the episode. Again, we didn't have time for an Ask Justin question this week, but as always, keep sending them through. We're keeping a list of everyone that's asked them, so we will try and get through them all next week. So yeah, thank you very much for watching. It's thank you from me, thank you from Justin, and we'll see you all next week. Cheers, everyone.
Thanks, guys. Have a good week. Bye.